To everyone, we will now continue with the same chapter, Blind Dog, and this is part 3. This is middle events. So, hope all of you have understood and remember the dog's appearance, its routine, and arrival of the blind man. That was what we saw in the beginning events of the story, which was in the previous video. So, in this video, we are going to see some of the middle events of this story. So let us see, this is a friendship starts, that is the heading of this paragraph. The dog was sleeping nearby. He was stirred by the smell of food. He got up, came out of his shelter, and stood before the blind man, wagging his tail and gazing expectantly at the bowl as he was eating his sparse meal. The blind man swept his arms about and asked, "Who is there?" At which the dog went up and licked his hand. The blind man stroked its coat gently from tail to ear and said, "What a beauty you are! Come with me." He threw a handful of food, which the dog ate gratefully. It was perhaps an auspicious moment for starting a friendship. Let's see the difficult words. Stirred. Here it is attracted. Different meanings for stirred is there. In this page it is attracted. Sparse. A little and spread out. Stroked, move hand gently over something. So the dog was sleeping nearby as usual under the culvert because it's happening under the eastern gate, which is the culvert is near the eastern gate of the market. So the man also normally comes and sits in the eastern gate of the market. So when the man was having his food, it got attracted towards this food. You know, whenever a street dog, if there is a food smell, what it will do, it just came out from his culvert shelter and stood near him and started wagging his tail. You all know this, it starts wagging and started seeing the food as if he is going to give, because it doesn't know that this man is a blind man. So when he was eating, the blind man was eating his sparse meal. You know, the man already has very little food and it is spread out because he doesn't have eyes. So he was just eating without any direction or without any guidance. So when the blind man heard some sound, since the dog came and it started wagging his tail, he heard some sound. He just swept his arms, just moved his arms blindly, and he was just asking, "Who is there?" On seeing his hand stretched out, the dog doesn't know that he is blind. So he thought probably he is calling him. The dog thought that the man is calling him, so it went and licked his hand. It started licking his hand. The blind man gently started patting it. Stroking means gently patting it, and told, "What a beauty." So he just touched it from tail to ear and told, because the blind man anyway doesn't have eyes. So he thought, okay, anyway the dogs will be soft. So he was telling, "What a beauty, please come with me." And then he gave a small handful of food, which the dog ate gratefully. With thankfulness, the dog ate and it became very happy. And probably this is going to be the start of a friendship. Auspicious means it's a very good time. You all know, auspicious time we start good things. So this is how the friendship is starting. So next, let's go to the next page. They met every day there, and the dog cut off much of its rambling to sit up beside the blind man and watch him receive alms morning to evening. In course of time, observing him, the dog understood that the passers-by must give a coin, and whoever went away without dropping a coin was chased by the dog. He tugged the edge of their clothes and pulled them back to the old man at the gate and let go only after something was dropped in his bowl. Among those who frequented this place was a village urchin who had the mischief of a devil in him. He liked to tease the blind man by calling him names. This line continues in the next page, but let us first finish this page. So, rambling, moving around without any purpose. It's almost equivalent to loafing only. Alms, money or food given to people, poor people. Tugged, pulled with full force. Urchin, urchin means poorly dressed young child. So they, after now the blind man, their friendship started in the last page we saw. Now you see how the dog is so faithful to the man. He started sitting beside him and seeing him it has cut off its rambling. So it has stopped going loafing around. It was sitting near him only because he gives some food for him to eat. So he doesn't need to go around and look for food. And the dog also watch that a lot of people give money and go. So then he thought that everybody has to give some money or something has to drop in his bowl. So if somebody by chance passes by, if anybody passed by without even dropping anything, he just ran behind them, tugged their edge of the cloths, that is, pulled their cloths and brought them near the bowl and ensured that people are dropping something in his bowl. So this is how it became very faithful to the old man. And there are a lot of people like this crossing. One such person is a village urchin, a small boy, young boy, poorly dressed. He is just wearing a small normal dress, but he was very, very mischievous. He was giving so much of trouble to the old man. What all he did? He used to tease the old man by calling him names. And let's now move to the next page. And by trying to pick up the coins in his bowl, the blind man helplessly shouted and cried and whirled his staff. On Thursdays, this boy appeared at the gate carrying on his head a basket loaded with cucumber or plantain. Every Thursday afternoon, it was a crisis in the blind man's life. A seller of bright colored but doubtful perfumes with his wares mounted on a wheeled platform, a man who spread out cheap storybooks on a gunny sack, another man who carried colored ribbons on an elaborate frame. These were the people who usually gathered under the same arch. On a Thursday, when the young man appeared at the eastern gate, one of them remarked, "Blind fellow, here comes your scourge." Scourge means here someone who gives trouble. Let me see whether any other meaning is there. Yes, it is there. World. World means rotating. Staff. Staff here it is stick. Staff has got multiple meanings. One is, staff room is there. All the people who work in an office, they are called staff. But the stick, walking stick, mainly walking stick is also called a staff. And wares. Wares means products. So what this boy used to come and give trouble to the man, he will try to take the money from the bowl also. At that time, the blind man will be helplessly shouting and crying, and he will just he will just rotate his stick so that the boy doesn't come near him. But still, the boy used to give so much of trouble. He comes every Thursdays. He brings cucumber and plantain, probably for selling. But every Thursday, it will be a very, very difficult time for the blind man in the afternoon, especially Thursday afternoons. Now in this market gate, eastern gate, there are three more people who are also selling, who are also normally assembling there, gathering there. One is a perfume vendor. That is a doubtful perfume means we don't know how much smell will come, how long it will remain, but it will be very bright colored. He will be having it in a wheeled platform, all his products. Then there is a man who will bring cheap storybooks in a gunny sack. And the third man is bringing an elaborate frame with colored ribbons. So these are the three people who will be coming. So on a particular Thursday, on one Thursday, when this village urchin, that young man, when he appeared at the eastern gate, one of the three persons, they told, "Oh, now it comes your scourge. The person who is giving trouble to you, he has come now." So now what you can do, pause the video. Later also in the characters and events, you will be seeing all these characters and events. You will be seeing all these things. But if you want, you can also note down whatever you see here. What are those? Who are those three people, and what do they sell? So these three you can note, and you can also write on Thursdays. What is this boy? What does the boy bring every Thursday? So it will be useful for you when there are questions. Now let's move to the next page. "Oh God, is this Thursday?" he wailed. He swept his arms about and called, "Dog, dog, come here. Where are you?" He made the peculiar noise which brought the dog to his side. He stroked his head and muttered, "Don't let that little rascal." At this very moment, the boy came up with a leer on his face. So what is a leer? A sly, unpleasant look. But what is a sly? Sly means cunning. Then what else? Wailed. Wailed means crying. What else? Peculiar. Peculiar means an abnormal, different sound. So it was then when one of those three vendors, the three sellers, when they told, "Your scourge, a person who troubles you has come," he was wondering. He started crying. "Oh, today is a Thursday." Then he just moved his hands and called the dog. "Dog, dog, come here," with a small noise, a typical noise, a peculiar noise, an abnormal noise he gave. Asked the dog to come and stroked his head, touched his head, patted his head, and told in his ears. Muttered means, in one of the previous chapters we have seen, in a very small voice, he told him, "Don't leave that little boy, little rascal, don't leave him. don't let that little, let that means don't allow him to do any trouble to me. That's what he meant. At that time, the boy came with a cunning look in his face. Let's see the next page. Blind man, still pretending you have no eyes. If you are really blind, you should not know this either. He stopped, his hand moving towards the ball. The dog sprang on him and snapped his jaws on his wrist. The boy extricated his hand and ran for his life. The dog bounded up behind him and chased him out of the market. Sprang. Sprang means jumped suddenly. It is basically past tense of spring. Snapped with a sound. Snap, broke with a sound. It is like even photograph also, we snap a photo. That means the sound will come. Click, tick, like that. Then extricated, got released. With great difficulty, got released. And bounded. Bounded means chased. Chased with running, no? With the, by, I'll just explain the paragraph. You'll be able to understand what bounded means. So the boy had a cunning look. He was thinking, how do you know that I have come? Because the dog, he doesn't know that one of those sellers told the blind man that this boy has come. But he was thinking the blind man has eyes. He was telling, are you still showing as if you don't have eyes? That time the dog jumped on him, put his teeth on his jaws, and there was a clicking sound, a cracking sound. The boy was really afraid. He just removed his hand somehow and started running for his life. And the dog chased him, just bounded him. That is, he ran behind him, chased him, and ensured that he goes out of the market. See the mongrel's affection for this old fellow. Marveled the perfume vendor. One more meaning is there, marveled. Marveled means wondered, surprised. So this perfume vendor was wondering, he was surprised. Just a few days only, you see, the dog is having so much of faith with this blind man because the blind man is giving food for it. So we'll go to the next page. I think with this, the first part of middle events are over. So in this video, we have read and understood some middle events of the story. So first what happened? The dog and man's friendship started. How the friendship started? So what you can do, if you are not able to remember, you can note down these points. You can go to the video again, that same page, or you can see your textbook and write how the friendship started. It will be very helpful. Later part in the story discussion also we will see, but this will be helpful if there are any questions in the next page. And the dog's faithfulness. So what did the dog do to show its faithfulness? Yes, it was bringing back the people who were passing without dropping coins. Like this, no, everywhere you can note down. 3 sellers, then you can see what are all those 3 sellers doing, what are they selling. The urchin comes, how he comes, what he brings, and the dog drives out the urchin. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 parts I have written. This middle event, this particular part of the middle event, there are 5 things which have happened. In the next video, we will see some more middle events of the story. So wherever you have doubt, if you don't remember this, you can pause the video, go back to that part, note down in your notebook. Always taking notes against each particular person, each activity. If you note down, it will be very helpful for you in remembering the story. 5 questions are there. Pause the video, note down the questions, and peacefully write the answers after understanding this part thoroughly. And that's all for this video. Thank you.